Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Omniverse of Nick, and Part 20 to the Mcqueen Walking Dead story. I'm your host, Nick, and, like always, before we get into today's episode, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and comment your favorite part or parts of ongoing or past stories, as well as future recommendations for what-ifs and general discussion that you want to see happen on this channel in the future that you might actually be able to see depending on what it is. We all know the drill by this point. Anyway, today we are going to be getting into Shane preparing for a second coming war with Rick, Mcqueen, and everybody else, and how Rick and Mcqueen and them will prepare in their stead. And the next episode will feature the battle. Spoiler alert. Shane is the one now in charge of holding the mantle of the savior position of leader and Lucille, which would be freaking sick in my opinion. The other main savior leaders, that of which being Arot, Regina, Gavin, and Jadis, are all wondering and asking Shane what do they do from here with no Negan and half their force depleted. Well, less than half, but you get my point. Shane thinks about this. He reflects on the journey that he's had from being with the group, saving Rick's life, then leaving them, meeting Michonne, saving her life, getting run into by Morgan, getting into the savior route, and then Michonne and the leader of this group dying has put Shane in a really peculiar spot, especially because he's now fighting the people he used to care about, and the fact that he did shoot Lori before he booked. But his mind's made up, and there's no going back, and he's done what he's done for the right reasons in his mind. So Shane makes the ultimate decision. He tells the saviors they are going to war, with or without Negan. They will get every asset at their disposal, and they will engage Rick Grimes and all those people at Alexandria and that car without fear, and this time, no retreats. That means every single savior from all the posts, all of here, and they're going to get the communities on their side too. It's time for a new age of the saviors. And we would get a scene similar to how Negan at the end of season 7 was gearing up his saviors for war, except it wouldn't be with Eugene and Dwight, and it would be Shane at the helm. This also means that Morales gets called to the sanctuary, which Shane has a direct confrontation with, which would be a nice little callback and honestly really slick to see. Shane would tell Morales that he should kill him for leaving them and ultimately it backfiring on himself. But he knows more than anyone what a traitor is like, since he kind of was one, yet not really in his eyes. And then he would explain almost everything to Morales, even though most of it he feels Morales doesn't really deserve an explanation. But enough of it, and the fact there's no Negan would put Morales on the side pretty much whether he'd want to or not, but he more or less goes along with it for the most part. I feel like he would. Then the communities are involved as soon as all the saviors are rallied together. This is Shane's true plan. Shane, first stop, they all go to the kingdom. Ezekiel and all the kingdom soldiers gather, thinking that this is some sort of little thing with Gavin, as it would be on occasion. But once he sees what's really going on here, he senses a shift in the rule and mood of the saviors, and he's never met this guy before, Shane, so something must be up. And with this, Shane says, well, your majesty, you finally get to step up in the world, prove you really are worthy of the title king, even though Shane doesn't believe in any of that nonsense. He says that Negan is dead. It's now on him to lead the saviors, and they're going to help in a war that they're having with another group. A group at Alexandria with a one-handed man and a talking sentient car, which the king should have no trouble believing that whatsoever, right? And he says that if the king and all the people work well, they'll leave him alone. But they have to put in all their weapons and all the people here to fight this war with them. If they win, if they do it what's right, Shane will leave them go. Ezekiel wonders about this. And this is big, considering what they had to go with the saviors before. But having to fight this big war, even if it's literally beyond the imagination of one of the people, Lightning Mcqueen, to Ezekiel, it's kind of up his alley, playing the part. So, if it means his people are let go afterwards, even if it's the risk of his people, Ezekiel says he'll do it. Doesn't really see another way out. And Shane says, well done, King. You made the right choice by yourself and your people. Next stop, Shane and everybody, which would even be a bigger group now. Think about how monstrously big the people would be here. Now, Shane makes his way towards Hilltop. Gregory, upon seeing Shane and hearing of this new rule reversal of the saviors, he doesn't buy a word of it and just thinks that this guy and all these people have just come to take away his community, threaten his home. He really doesn't care or buy into any of this. And he probably gets some sense smacked into him, literally, when Jesus punches him across the room. Jesus says that as well as he shouldn't believe this either, there's no reason why there shouldn't be some truth to this, especially with the knowledge presented forth. But that doesn't mean that Jesus or anybody here wants to trust Shane or any of these people, especially when they bring up the talking car. And it's just, this doesn't feel like their fight. And they've been forced to do what the saviors wanted and got people killed. Why should they help them? And Shane just tells them, when they look at it in the cold light of day, they're all pretty much dead already. And that's exactly what he told Dale before he broke down the barn in canon, not here, which would honestly really fit as a canonical line in this story, if you think about it, for all intents and purposes. And Shane says, if they help out, they do what's right by not only the community here, but pull forth effort. Shane will leave all the communities go as the new leader of the sanctuary. But they gotta pull their weight. It's a worthy deal. And they're not looking to take anything anymore. But Gregory still isn't buying any of it and feels like this is just a waste of time. This is all just a big game, a hoax. This is his community. He makes the rules. Why should he listen to them? And Gregory at this point has opened his mouth way too much. The punch wasn't enough from Jesus, and Shane sees that. And he shoots Gregory square down, basically just mercilessly shooting him to death, and putting Jesus as the rightful true leader of Hilltop, seeing as Jesus seems to know what's more right by the people. And even after this, Jesus is still willing to do this against his better judgment. And Shane says, he used to be an officer. He will honor the word of leaving this community and kingdom go, provided that they do what's right for themselves and pull their weight with the saviors. Oceanside is left alone still from past few parts. It's just vacant, more or less, along with the women and children and men all still alive. As for Jadis and their group, it's kind of a Rick and Negan feel, with Shane not wondering where to trust Jadis or not, knowing of her background with Negan and just her. But I feel that Shane and Jadis would actually really get along, because they're both sort of multi-personality people with, like, their emotions and what sides they want to take. So I think that Shane and Jadis would actually really get along, especially with the amount of people which Jadis would want to stick around for, either to just be around or use to her advantage to the CRM in a later point. So Shane has his army, and with Lucille and his favorite weapons by his side, they storm towards Alexandria, which Rick has fully grasped a hold on leading. With the help of Mcqueen and Lori and everyone else aiding him, they've gotten their moods back after what's happened after the loss of Rick's unborn child, Lori's survival, and with all this, Rick, Mcqueen, and everyone at Alexandria present is ready to not only keep this community as theirs forever, like the farm was, but to combat Shane. Soon enough, after some time, Rick looks out in the distance from a watchtower, and he sees Shane, with the barbed wire bat of Negan by his side and an army behind him. And this is just confirms it. This is war. Rick goes out to confront Shane at the helm of it all. And what will happen from here? Will this confrontation go the way either party wants it to go? What will happen with, like, the wolves or other groups? And will it all collide together? Or will it be no problem at all? And that's where we leave things for the moment. What do you guys think will happen next? How did you like this episode? And what is your favorite part so far? With all that out of the way, be sure, as always, to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and comment your favorite parts or parts of ongoing or past stories, as well as future recommendations for stories and general discussion you might get to see in the future on the channel. Next episode's going to feature the ultimate war between Rick and Shane, with Mcqueen in tow. You will not want to miss it.